make me feel bad. All I wanted was to eat the chicken, to slaughter another chicken to absorb its power. And make a nice kid. Must be something assimilated. Then we are in disagreement. Good. I dread the day when everyone on this ship agrees with me. I thank you for your opinion, but our mission is not going to change. Somewhere along this journey, we'll find a way back. Mr. Paris, set a course for home.
Hello, Fan Expo, how are you doing? In case we haven't met before, I'm AJ Fry. I work for Space Channel, which is your go-to destination for Star Trek. Any fans in the house? You'll be happy to know that, of course, the new show, Discovery, is headed to space next year. It is the go-to place in Canada to consume Star Trek legally. Don't do it illegally. The Federation wouldn't be happy with you. So we're going to bring out our guest in just a moment. We're going to have a microphone set up down the middle, which you can come to. I believe Crystal has the mic for us. You can ask some questions. I'll ask a few off the top. And just a reminder that it is a Q&A, which is questions and answers. Please no requests for things like hugs or selfies or read my script or any other things. Just ask questions because we want to hear our guest talk. And on that note, let's bring her out here. You know her, you love her. It's Kate Mulgrew, everybody.
Thank you. Hello, everybody. Very nice to see you. J'adore Toronto. All right, what are you going to ask me?
I'm just going to ask you a few, and then we'll go to the floor. I'm sure their questions are better than mine.
I like them profound. Talk about God. Talk about sex. Go on.
Well,
talk.
There was discussion of everything in Star Trek, and this year we're celebrating the 50th anniversary. We're getting this new series. I've asked so many of the members of the cast of all the various iterations of Star Trek over the years this question. I've not had the fortune to meet you yet, so I'm going to ask you now. Why do you think Star Trek is the global phenomenon of continued success that it is? What makes this franchise so magical?
It's hard to encapsulate that, but I will try. It's a metaphor. I think it's that simple. The ship, the starship, lost in space, in my case in the Delta Quadrant, because I missed the gas station, with a complement of 165 on board, 75,000 light years from home. This is who we are on the planet Earth.
Yes.
We come from oblivion, we have a brief moment as sentient beings, and we return to oblivion. So it is exactly the same situation reflected in Star Trek. Only Roddenberry has a sort of extraordinary imagination, and he was able to give it a voice and a soul and a framework that all of us can understand. But I think we're all lost, and we're all yearning to find one another. We are all yearning within that brief moment of time called our life to transcend even who we are, all of the obstacles that get in the way of love, class, creed, religion, sexuality, identity, all of that. Roddenberry saw far, far, far beyond. And I had the great privilege of getting us lost in the Delta Quadrant for 7 years and trying to figure it out. But don't mistake it, Janeway had a ball. When she knew she was lost in space, after she wept on the bridge saying, "Yes, I will try to get you home," I went into my ready room and did 10 flips of joy. That's what I think it's about.
Well, there we go. Now, we do know that the new series is coming. Obviously, with each iteration of Star Trek, we try to tackle themes that are present in our modern times. So do you have any hopes and or advice for the new cast of Discovery?
No, but I've been doing some reading, which has been very edifying, and I must say, delightful. I understand that he's going to introduce an openly gay character on Star Trek Discovery, which I think is fantastic. I want everybody here to know that I lobbied hard for that in the Voyager years and was not successful, but Brian Fuller is carrying the mantle and he's great. And I understand that there is a female lead, although not the captain. She will be called #1, and that too is marvelous. So, you know, Brian Fuller knows this. He was 10 when he wrote for Voyager. So now he's fully formed, and I think going to create something splendid with Star Trek Discovery, which is a prequel, right?
It takes place between Enterprise and the original series, if I'm not mistaken.
Does Bill Shatner know that?
Doesn't he know everything?
He thinks he does.
Yeah.
Oh, this little Captain humor. Yes, what's your next one?
Well, of course, Canadians know me for working for Space Channel, and, you know, absolutely a Star Trek fan. And I must admit, though, I'm also a huge Orange is the New Black fan.
Yes, quite a crossover.
Well, I gotta say, one of the reasons that I love it so much is that it presents to me these characters that I haven't really seen much of before. You know, I'm that privileged guy, that straight white male who hasn't had to consider life through the eyes of other characters, and we get a huge roster of them.
You're a straight white man?
Yes.
What happened to your hand if you're a straight white man?
I've been telling people that I had a battle with the Borg, and, but...
Oh, I thought you'd been at Litchfield. Sorry.
Focusing back on Orange is the New Black, you don't want to know the story, man, it wasn't all that interesting. But in a way, it's kind of like Star Trek in that we're looking into the lives of people who are lost in their own new reality for a period of time. Do you see a parallel there? Is it similarly shining a light on society?
No.
Reflecting? No? Okay.
No, I really don't. I think that it's a microcosm of our society. Genji Cohen is a genius. Again, Roddenberry, in that regard, yes, there is a parallel, and they are comparable. An original, extremely robust mind. Her mind is like an extraordinary muscle. And she is determined to take this petri dish and force us, as a culture, to examine it from every angle. So what you think at first you're watching, which is a group of women in a minimum facility prison, turns out to be, in fact, an exploration of all issues, most topical right now. We're doing the privatization of prisons now. So you would think that she would just look at it through the prisoner's eyes, but she doesn't. She's prismatic. She's completely unexpected. And she really wants you to understand that the beauty of human nature lies in its fracturedness as well as its complexity. And that's what I think Orange is all about, and why it has so captured the imagination of its audience, which is now international. We're going to China. Can you imagine red in Chinese? That'll be fascinating. Or Russia. I hope they send me to Russia. Don't you? Then I will talk to those guys straight.
Well, thank you very much. I think we should go to the floor and get some questions from
Let's go to the floor. Yes, please.
Hi, hello.
Hi, sweetheart.
I
think you're laughing, or...
I'm crying.
This is what I love about women. You can never tell. Go on.
I'm a huge fan. I've been watching Star Trek since I was 8. I'm Russian as well.
Did your mother have you watch it, sweetheart?
No, it was
just a Russian impulse to watch it.
I just love that Star Trek is really just about exploring the human condition in the context of space. Also why I'm not much of a fan of the J.J. Abrams Star Treks, but I'm a huge fan.
What was that very slight smattering of applause meant to indicate? Don't you guys like J.J. Abrams? Yeah. Who over there is dubious? What is your question, sweetheart?
So I was just wondering, what is your favorite moral concept that was explored in Voyager specifically, and what do you feel they missed out on? Is there any conflict that you felt was really important at the time that wasn't explored?
Well, yes, and I would go back to the theme of sexual identity. I don't think that that was thoroughly examined.
Right.
But my favorite, I think, was Death Wish. The right to die, which goes against Janeway's grain entirely. Janeway loves life. But then this is Q's nephew, who is about to inherit the mantle of Q, which is to live forever. And he begs for the right to end his life, because he does not wish for eternal being. And I begin almost rigid in the courtroom in my approach to his argument, and I end up relenting. Because of course, it is his right not to live forever, right? So I thought the examination of that, and of course I got to work with my dear friend John Delancey, who we all know is mad. I loved that. I loved it whenever we encountered an alien species that offered a good moral dilemma. Species 8472. The Vidians, the Borg. The Borg are very interesting, right? Fascinating. Well, and then the ongoing moral story between Janeway and Seven of Nine, which was introduced in the third or fourth season. Which season? Fourth. It was terrific, wasn't it? Half Borg, half human. I'm going to try to teach her how to love, and she does. And who does she run away with? Chakotay. She had good taste. Does that answer your question?
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And
Thank
you really don't disappoint in person. You're really impressive.
you. Thank you, sweetheart.
Hello
I
there.
want to see them. I'm blinded by these lights. Hi.
Hello. I just wanted to thank you for portraying a woman on television that doesn't just have to be one way or the other. You were sweet, and you were angry, and you were soft, and you were sweaty and rough. You were
Sweaty? I was sweet, but I was sweaty. Don't you forget it. All right.
And it helped mold me into the person that I've become. And I just wanted to ask that as a woman in the industry that helped to pioneer, the change in how women are perceived on the stage and screen, was there ever a time in your career that you felt that you really had to push back against, the obstacles against you as a woman?
At that time, really, I mean, that was tough going. I was the first female captain. There was a lot at stake for Paramount and the fledgling network, UPN, a lot of money, right? This was $1 billion franchise. To bring a woman in was a frightening prospect. So they tried in myriad ways to both enhance and diminish my femininity at the same time. I had 9 hairdos within 7 months. I had built-in bosoms and clinched-in things and 4.5-inch heels. And finally I went to Rick Berman and I said, I gotta talk to you, pal. Let me tell you something about Star Trek that I believe is true. What they love is someone who understands command. I am of childbearing years. We are appealing to a demographic of young men between the ages of 20 and 35. They don't want to constantly be faced with my femininity What they want to be revealed to them is my ability to run this ship and to return it home. So, we had our first contretemps, and I love Rick Berman, but I said, I'm not sleeping with anybody. I'm not going to do it now, and I'm not going to do it for the next 7 years. So if you have any ideas about Chakotay, I privately wept about this. Take them off the table. There will be no sex in my ready room. And I think I did the only thing that I could to put a dent in that glass ceiling, which was, I'm not even going to play this game. Take my hair down, give me some shoes that fit me, take these stupid things out of my bra, and let's get to work. Let me run the ship. Yeah. And then it began. Then the love affair began, you know? But you have to own the captain. You can't falsify the captain in any way. I mean, that captain is a serious, serious thing for the audience, and the audience must believe that she is capable of taking care of that compliment on that ship. So that's what I was up against, and I loved it, but it was a big challenge in the first season. Does that answer your question?
Yes, it does. Thank you so much.
Thank you. What a good question.
Thank you for teaching me how to be commanding.
Oh, thank you for that. Very nice.
Hello.
Young man. Are you a young man?
Yes.
Oh, I'm so sorry. How young are you?
13.
13. What's your name?
Sawyer.
Sawyer. You can tell what kind of a man he's going to be, can't you? Are you young? Yes. How young? 13. What's your name? Sawyer. Nice, but you'll be strong. What's your question, Sawyer?
During the Voyager, have you kept any souvenirs from the Voyager show?
Like what?
Have you kept any souvenirs from the Voyager?
I heard your question, Sawyer, but I don't know what you mean by souvenirs, darling. What do you mean? Did I steal stuff from the set? Yes. Do I look like an idiot to you? Yes. I took things from my chair, and I took things from my console, and I took the print of Leonardo da Vinci that I had in my ready room. I ripped everything off. Oh, yes. Wouldn't you have done the same, Sawyer?
Yes.
That's better. Thank you. Good question. Perfect. I said it all.
Is anything missing from Orange is the New Black, or?
That's how we got there. Well, hi.
You remember the 30-year anniversary with the Frasier sketch? My question is, how did it actually come about?
I'm having one of those moments. The 30-year anniversary with the Frasier sketch. What does that mean?
You know, the sketch you did for the 30-year anniversary with the cast of Frasier.
Oh, did I? You know, there's a lot of stuff I don't actually remember because we were busy. We were very, very busy. But I'm sure it was loads of fun. Love David Hyde Pierce. Great guy. Is that kind of... Yeah. You're terribly disappointed. Do you want to ask me something about God?
Also, the actress who was cast before you, did you get...
Geneviève Bujold, French-Canadian, marvelous actress, yes. She was cast first.
Did you get to see any of what she shot?
I did.
Did you use any?
Let me just tell you something about that actress. Do you know what courage it took for her to call it? I think she worked for a day and a half, maybe 2. She called it quickly, and she called it because she could see it. And she saved that network and that studio so much time and so much money, and she opened the door for me. And I have nothing but gratitude and respect for that actress, let me tell you that. Thank you.
Hello there.
The next series is going to be in 4K and 8K and 10K. And the one in Russia, in the movie, you have a new one there because he died, got killed recently after the movie was made.
I'm not understanding this. Do you understand it?
Not really.
Go slowly, go slowly.
The theater, it's now 4K. It's the Russian guy that played Chekhov there. He died in real life.
That's right.
Yes, he
Oh,
did.
yes, the young man. It's
Yeah.
a terrible tragedy,
And
right?
you
But what
also-
happened? What happened? It was a terrible accident, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Car accident. Oh, right. And he sort of, well,
Yeah.
Yeah.
right.
It's Anton Yelchin.
Terrible. Yeah. And I'm sorry, what is your question?
And the other question was asking, are they all going to be 4K, 8K, 10K? Because they're now 10K TVs now.
About Discovery, the new series?
Yeah, the new series is going to be 4K, 10K, and 8K.
Okay.
Then we say, okay.
Yeah, Thank you for your
Thank
question.
you.
It's
Thank
like,
you.
as they say, Wally Gold where TV never gone before.
Right. Thank you. Thank you.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
So nice to meet you from afar. My boyfriend told me to say that he's
Where's your boyfriend?
back there. He's being shy, but he loves
Bring
you.
him up.
Remo Wilson.
Bring him up.
That's right.
No such thing
You
as
tell her.
shyness in love. You say it.
I thought you were awesome in Remo Williams.
That's it?
That's
Don't you want to ask me anything?
it. She had.
I can see where this relationship is going.
Yeah.
All right. You ask, but don't you leave yet, because I think that this is very interesting.
I'm sure everybody's gonna have Star Trek questions, but I have an Orange is the New Black question.
Uh-huh.
How did you feel when you got the role of Red, and what did you do to prepare yourself to be the most badass Russian inmate? You really do an amazing job at it.
Thank you. Thank you. That's a compliment. Badass inmate.
Extremely.
I did absolutely nothing to prepare for it, and it stood me in good stead. I did the opposite for Janeway. I really prepared for Janeway. I knew that that was going to be a very particular, highly stylized, very disciplined kind of audition. This, I was told, was for a new network called Netflix, a streaming service. Lionsgate was the studio. They just wanted me to come in and do a test very quickly. And when I got there, they gave me one tiny sheet of paper. I was not allowed to read the script. There was no script. Just a sheet of paper, very short scene. And it said at the top, Galina Redresnikov is Russian by birth, but she has well and truly assimilated into the American culture and certainly the prison culture of Litchfield. We want only the merest hint that she was from Russia, right? But that is not what came out of my mouth. And I looked into the camera, and I knew exactly who this broad was, and that she resided within me, and that I wanted her, and that I needed to have her. And I believe she felt the same way about me, because guess what? I got the role. Yeah, that happens, you know, kismet. It happened in the audition with Janeway too, although that was terrifying. Believe me, there were 50 brass there. Everybody on the lot of Paramount was there staring at me. Awful, awful day. And first I did a scene with Tuvok, and then they wanted me to do the monologue about we are stranded in the Delta Quadrant. And I did that monologue, and when it was over, I felt like I felt when it was over with Red, which is the way I felt when I've kissed someone. Why are you rubbing your eyes? Hi, I'm talking about kissing. Okay, he's someone I occasionally kiss. It's just a magical thing, and you know it's kismet, and you know it's organically right, and you know it's passionately right, and you know it's creatively right, and you knew you were meant to meet, and it just takes flight. And that's what happened with Red. Thank you. Thank you. A little too late over there, you in the peanut gallery. Yes.
I just want to say, first of all, pleasure to meet you and be able to talk with you like this. One thing I was curious about all the Q&As I do for Star Trek actors is, I know that the creative process for the actors kind of adding in their own take or their own ideas is there, but it doesn't always, like, translate. I'm just curious, is there anything that you personally thought of for, like, Captain Janeway, like a backstory thing, or just some kind of, just an idea you had about her that just ultimately never made it to the show for us to know about the character?
Yes, and I just said it earlier when that lady asked me that wonderful question. I believe that Janeway was secretly thrilled that she was lost in an unknown quadrant, a theretofore unexplored quadrant of space. The scientist in Janeway was in heaven, but she could never reveal that to her crew, right? The whole goal was to get them home, but secretly inside. And then, of course, I lost my fiance and I lost my dog, to add insult to injury, right? Even in that loss, those human losses, even as I was letting go more and more my connection to Earth, there was a deep joy. Because the scientist in Janeway is the scientist who created Leonardo da Vinci. Is the scientist who embraced, sort of with a kind of abandon, every one of those alien species, every one of those treacherous encounters. She wasn't just a typical scientist. She was a bit of a mad scientist. And her command of the ship is the thing that kept her rooted. But her love of science and her, I think, almost inexpressible passion to explore is what made her who she was, unique. Thank you for that question.
Thank you.
You know, they always say, and we explored it a little bit, the loneliness of command. I thought that was good. I mean, I got to wear a beautiful long wig, and they made me a sort of satin nightgown and stuff. So not like Janeway, right? But I looked beautiful when the stars were out there. But I think Janeway inside was saying, I wonder what's going to happen tomorrow. I can't wait for the next alien species. Who am I going to take down? Who am I going to understand? What am I going to transcend next? And how am I going to reconfigure and redefine the Prime Directive? That was her whole thing.
Hi, you are so beautiful. Like, my heart melts when you talk.
Oh, what I think I'm going to stand up and take a look at you. I see, young man. How old are you?
I'm 31.
31. Are you related to Sawyer by any chance?
No, but I'm middle age.
I'll bet you are. All right, what's your question?
All right, if we go back a few years ago, we had a male prison show called Oz on HBO.
Oh, yes, with my friend Chris Maloney.
Yes. Now, what would happen
Very sexy stuff, wasn't it?
if those characters cross over with Orange is the New Black? Would that be possible?
What are you talking about?
They cross.
Oh, but you're 31, and you're a man. I think we all know what you're talking about. Would that be possible? Oh no, then it wouldn't be Orange is the New Black,
They
right?
could come as guards. You know?
Huh?
They could come as guards or something else.
Sex. Do you know what they say about 31-year-old men? You think about sex, what is it? Do you know what it is? I'm asking you. Yeah, how often every minute? I 7, do I hear 8? All the time. So is there going to be a crossover? Isn't there enough sex on Orange is the New Black for you? We got lesbians doing it left, right, and center. We got all kinds of stuff going on. There's a lot of sex.
There could be a little more.
If you ever get married and have a baby, I want you to name him Little More.
Will do.
All right, boom. 20 times a minute, that guy, right? Yeah.
Hello, Ms. Mulgrew.
Hi.
Welcome to Toronto. Based on that, I'm changing my question. I think the gentleman previous was asking about technology in terms of the resolution of what would be broadcast in terms of 4K or 8K.
Right. Thank you. Thank you.
But one technology that you had aboard Voyager was the holodeck, and you talked about Janeway enjoying having a ball. And I just wondered, you know, yourself or for Janeway, what would be a holodeck program that you might enjoy?
Well, I created it when I created Da Vinci. It was ideal, although I don't think the audience loved it very much. Did you know that? I loved it. Because I wanted the meeting of art and science. I was beginning to think that Janeway was becoming a bit too, I don't know, rigid. Do you know? A little square. Let's loosen her up. Let's give her a partner in someone entirely unexpected, who will embrace her love of science. And who better than the maestro himself? That was a great holo program. And then, of course, I had my little love affairs. I had that fellow, that little Irish guy.
That's right.
Really? Really? I don't know about that one. Didn't really work, did it? Did it?
No.
Anytime they tried to do anything romantic with Janeway, including my having baby lizards with Lieutenant Paris on the turbo lift, the height of erotica, right? I said, really, you guys, I said to the writers, really, are you all on lewds? What's going on? I don't know if I answered your question or not.
You did, and this was a lot of fun.
Okay, thank you. How did you all like those of you who are Star Trekkers, like the holodeck and the holo program? That is serious? Because that is a very viable thing, like the phaser and the tricorder. All of these things will be realized as they are becoming, as I speak. Yes, sweetheart.
Hi, so first of all, I just wanted to say that I'm a huge fan of Orange is the New Black. You're my favorite character.
How old are you?
17.
Okay, you can watch it.
So I was wondering, like, in what ways do you feel you can relate to Red? Like,
In every way.
yeah.
In every way. You know, she's got to survive within the confines of this monochromatic, dismal, unending, bleak reality. She must survive because she committed a sin. We don't know the size and dimension of this sin, but we have an idea, don't we? Those weren't Snicker bars they were putting in my deep freezer in the deli in Queens. I believe that Red took the fall. I could be wrong. My guess is that she did. She has 3 sons. And then I had a husband. Now, you know, I've divorced him because he's a little schmuck and a liar. I think she determined the minute she went into prison that she was going to find her way, her identity within that prison system, and she was going to seek her excellence within those narrow confines. And she went to the kitchen, and she found through the kitchen, through the making of the food, through the feeding of the food to her daughters, her new family, she found a way to raise herself up to a level of excellence that could allow her to live well. If Red does not live well, she will die. So it is this constant trying. What do I say about the chicken? Get me the chicken. that is the only chicken. And I will take its soul and make you a Kiev you will never forget. She believes in beauty. She believes in life, and she's not going to whine. She's not going to complain. But her sorrow is deep. You have to feel that implanted. You have to feel her fractured being. She's suffered. And she's not going to complain about it, but she's going to try to rise above it. So that's a beautiful thing to play. It's a wonderful thing to play. That answer your question?
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Oh, wait a minute. You were 12 when you started to watch it? I can't hear you, and I think it's a good thing because you're making lots of excuses. 12. Thank you for your question. I think they're so young when they watch this. Don't you think it's awfully graphic for young ones? I had a little one in the line today. She couldn't have been 8. I love Red. I said, what do you know about Red? I watch it all the time. With my grandmother. I said, next. Yes.
I'm a big fan.
Hi.
I want to know, what was it like playing characters from different sides of the spectrum? Like with Janeway, she's all about life and trying to make everybody survive and try to get a positive outcome. Where versus Red, she's willing to kill just to, like, you know, make the situation better.
No. Maybe to have a laugh. No, Red does not kill.
Well, I meant more like, she's like very like ruthless.
She's like ruthless. I don't think she's ruthless. Why do you think she's ruthless? That's not ruthless, that's fair. She didn't like the food. She's not ruthless, but she's tough. You want to survive in a prison, you have to draw a line, a moral line, beyond which you cannot cross. So that's what she does when people cross that line. Now I've forgotten your question. What was it?
My question was like...
Oh, the difference in approach. Well, they're wildly different. Are you asking which one I preferred playing?
Or like...
The challenge of switching between the two?
Someone like who's like...
There's no question which was tougher, love. There's just no question. Janeway was tough. You want to work? You want to go to work? For 7 years? For 16 to 18 hours a day? And raise 2 little boys? And have 10, 15 pages of technobabble? Easier to learn Japanese overnight. Subsist on very little sleep, and to go in every morning at 4 a.m., 4:30, with a certain approach of preparation, discipline, dedication. I gave the best part of 10 years to that character, and I'm going to tell you right now, I'm very glad I did. But it took more out of me than any other role has ever done. Red is a walk in the park. She's a joy. I mean, I'm not the lead. There is no lead, really. But I don't have to carry it. I carried Voyager. I carried it. And when you're in charge, and when you're responsible, and you're setting the tone for the set, and you're setting the tone for the 9 series regulars, and every day you're doing it, and you're tired, and you have to get beyond that, and then you have to give it everything you've got. I learned when I finished those 7 years, I call it my tenure as a captain, what I was really made of, and I was proud. I was very proud. Patrick Stewart said it to me, but of course he's a man, and he's bald. No, if you're not having your hair fooled around with 52 times a day, guess what? You're more relaxed. How would you like it? How would you like it? A 5-page monologue on the bridge about species 8472. Get the calibers, we're going to go to Haven, red alert, blah, blah, blah. I said, cut. I said, she's got a fine hair. Go get the... I swear to God. I swear to God. Do you think he had it one time? One time? No. But if he did, they plucked it, and that was the end of it. I get mad about that because that is truly the only difference. But of course, would I change being a woman? Not on your life. Thank you. Yes.
Hi. It's
Hi.
so nice to see you again. I got your autograph. My question is, I know the Next Generation was very notorious for its pranks, but of course, Robbie McNeil said once Voyager was on an entirely other level. So could you tell us some of those shenanigans and pranks that you guys have done that were truly entertaining?
I'd like to hear from you what Robbie McNeil, a.k.a. Lieutenant Paris, had to say about what went on the bridge after midnight.
Well, I don't...
Oh, I think you do recall what he said.
Like you said, 2 directors quit directing after directing you guys. It was that.
2?
Yes, apparently.
Huh. Did he say anything about his own weakness in this regard?
No.
Of course he didn't. Because he's Lieutenant Paris at the helm. Usually naked. Tuvok would start. It would be my close-up, because of course it would be 2 a.m., right? On a Saturday morning, maybe even 3. They'd have done all the guys, holding Kate till last, because Kate will come through with her close-up after 20 hours of acting, right? Okay, we're coming in. Guys, gentlemen, you're going to be off camera. I'll start with Tuvok, and then we're going to go over to Gara Wong, and then we're going to come down to you. We're going to end with Chakotay. And of course, it was some terribly difficult scene about some awful thing. We were some nebula, some black hole. And I would turn to look at Lieutenant Paris, and he would be naked. Lieutenant, set a course. This went on every Friday for 7 years. Forget the awards, the Emmys, and all that nonsense. Canonization. Shenanigans. Oy. Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, yes.
We got time for maybe a couple more questions.
Hey, AJ, long time no see. Hey, Kate, again.
Oh, hi, honey. This is a lovely girl. Your name is Rebecca.
No, Justina. You're getting there.
All right, Justina.
Very close. But still working.
But no cigar.
Yes,
I got it. What's your
Okay,
question, darling?
My very difficult question has to deal with Unimatrix Zero. At the end of it, you were assimilated by the Borg, and you had to wear that corset. What was it like stepping into Jerry Ryan's shoes at that moment?
Ooh. I didn't step into her shoes.
Well, I mean, like, how did...
I didn't even step into her corset.
Well, I know, but what was it like wearing the corset?
Heaven. I've always loved a corset. Put it on my tombstone. I have always loved a corset. And I loved going head-to-head with the Borg Queen, Alice Creed. It was fabulous. Now, mind you, I will tell you this. My heart went out to Jerry Ryan. It went out to Ethan Phillips and Roxanne Dawson. They had to go into makeup, 3-4 hours before any of the rest of us to get all that plastic stuff put on. So it was only rarely that I ever had to do it. I think I played a Klingon once, and then I did the Borg. And I loved that. Because then you have to really understand how it must feel to be a Borg. And in a way, it made the face-off, the denouement with the Borg Queen, even more thrilling for me to play. So it was fun. But I can't imagine having done it every day, and I wouldn't have done it every day. But then I didn't have to because I was the captain.
That's true. Thank you.
Thank you, Justina. Thank you.
We did get the wrap a moment ago, and I thought before we exit stage, you got this huge crowd of people who came out to see you. Is there anything you would like to say to them?
To this crowd of people?
This crowd, right here.
What I would say to No, not what I would say to any crowd of people at any time. What I would say to this crowd specifically is, I have to assume you're here because most of you have watched either Star Trek Voyager or Orange is the New Black. And as regards Star Trek Voyager, I want to thank those ardent supporters because I'm not stupid. I know what the ultimate love affair is here between the fan and the player. And it's kismet. And it's a real relationship, and I've always taken it seriously. I find the intelligence of the Star Trek audience to surpass that of any other audience I've ever experienced. Having said that, I do hope my Orange is the New Black ones will stay tuned for more bad stuff behind those walls. But I'll say this about Canada, you're the best. Thank you very much.
Great Mulgrew, everybody. Enjoy the rest of Fan Expo.
Thank you very much.